The Rattrap by Selma Lagerlöf. Selma Lagerlöf was a Swedish writer whose stories have been translated into many languages. She was the first woman to win the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1909. The Rattrap is a story set in the middle of the mines of Sweden, which are rich in iron ore. The story is narrated in the manner of a fairy tale. The story is based on the idea that the emotions of love and acceptance can reform others. Once there was a tramp who made and sold wired rat traps. Selling rat traps, however, was not profitable, and so he also stole to have his body and soul together. One day, a thought crossed his mind that the whole world is a rat trap and it existed to set bait to people to their own destruction. The tramp, who had always been ill-treated by the world, found a great amusement in this thought. One evening, the tramp knocked on the door of a little cottage, hoping for a chance to rest for the night. The lonely crofter who lived there welcomed the tramp, offering him a hot meal and tobacco for his pipe. They spent the evening talking and playing Majolis, a card game. The crofter confided in the tramp about how he earned money and where he kept it. The next morning, the tramp and the crofter left the house together. The tramp bid farewell and went his way, only to return half an hour later. He smashed a window pane and stole the crofter's money. Feeling himself to be very smart, he chose to walk through the woods. His joy, however, was short-lived as he got lost in the forest. As he wandered in the forest looking for a way out, he realized that he too had allowed himself to be fooled by bait. Darkness fell and the tramp sank to the ground in despair. Just then he heard the sound of hammer strokes from a nearby iron mill and stumbled in the direction of the sound. He reached Ramshaw Iron Works and asked the master smith for a night's shelter. The blacksmith, used to such requests, nodded his agreement after a casual and indifferent glance at the tramp. Later that night, the owner of the mill, the iron master, arrived at the factory for his nightly inspection. The ironmaster mistook the tramp for an old acquaintance from the army. The tramp, hoping to extract some cash from the ironmaster, thought it was not wise to reveal his true identity. Things though got unpleasant for the tramp as the ironmaster insisted on taking him home, which the tramp flatly refused. The ironmaster gave in then, but sent his daughter Edla to persuade the tramp. Edla's friendly manner caused the tramp to change his mind, and he went with her. At the house, the tramp was given a haircut, shave, bath, and a pair of freshly pressed clothes. The ironmaster looked at the clean tramp and realized his mistake. The ironmaster wanted to call the sheriff, but finally refrained from it after the tramp convinced him that the world is a rat trap and the ironmaster himself might one day get ensnared in the trap. The ironmaster, though amused, asked the tramp to leave at once. However, Edla convinced her father to let the poor tramp spend Christmas with them. Therefore, the tramp spent Christmas Eve doing nothing other than eating and sleeping. The next day at church, the ironmaster and Edla came to know that the tramp had stolen 30 kronor from the poor crofter. Fearing the worst, father and daughter returned home only to find the tramp gone. He had left a Christmas present and a letter for Edla. The present was a little rat trap. In the rat trap, he left the 3 wrinkled 10 kronor notes of the crofter. In the letter, the tramp expressed his desire to reciprocate Edla's kindness and asked her to return the money to the poor crofter. He also mentions that the Rattrap is a Christmas present to her because she treated him as if he were a real captain. He was also able to escape the wolf's Rattrap. At last, he signed the letter as Captain von Stahel.